The lack of effort in a relationship often reveals hidden truths. When you stop trying to make it work, something changes. He begins to perceive the dynamic between you in a different way, and this can be uncomfortable. It's common that, while you strive to keep the flame alive, he becomes complacent. The emotional strain affects both your self-esteem and clarity. However, when you decide to pull back and stop putting in the energy, the situation becomes evident. He feels the absence, and this forces him to confront reality. At that moment, he may experience a range of emotions. The first is shock. What once seemed guaranteed now becomes uncertain. This feeling may be accompanied by confusion as he wonders what happened. You who were always there have now distanced yourself. This creates space for reflections that didn't exist before. He may also feel fear of losing something he never fully appreciated. This feeling may lead him to reconsider his actions and the importance of what you had. He faces the possibility that the relationship is not what he thought. This new perspective can be painful, but is necessary for personal growth. If you stop trying, he might begin to question his own failures. He might realize that he wasn't investing enough, that the relationship wasn't balanced. This self-reflection can be an important first step for him to understand what he truly wants and needs. The lack of effort is not a way of giving up, but a way to protect yourself. When you decide not to sacrifice anymore, you give yourself space to assess your own happiness. It is a moment of self-care that can be decisive. He, on the other hand, faces the bare reality. This is the time for a possible awakening. You deserve to be in a relationship where both parties strive equally. By stopping trying, you open the door for him to see the truth. This truth can be painful, but it is liberating. If he wants to move forward with you, it's necessary for him to do his part. If you have come this far, it's a sign that it's time to take action. You are not alone in this process. Your worth is not tied to the effort you put into a relationship. You deserve reciprocity and respect. By stopping trying, you put yourself first, and that is true strength. When you decide to stop making an effort in a relationship, it does not mean that you don't care. In fact, it is an act of protection and self-care. You begin to understand that love should not be a constant struggle. The essence of a healthy relationship is reciprocity, and when that is lacking, it's time to reassess. Distancing can cause discomfort, but it can also be the catalyst for necessary changes. He will be confronted with a void that did not exist before. This void can force him to think about what it really means to have you in his life. This reflection can be uncomfortable, but it is essential. It is when he begins to realize that what he had may not be enough. This new situation can lead him to question what he really wants. He may start to question his own feelings and actions. What kept him from making an effort? What changed in the dynamics between you? This introspection can be painful, but it is an important step for his personal growth. Additionally, the distancing can expose failures in communication. Often people settle in relationships because they believe their needs are being met, even if they are not. When you distance yourself, he may realize that he wasn't truly listening to or understanding your concerns. This can create a newfound willingness to listen and connect in a more meaningful way. It's important to remember that by distancing yourself, you are not only creating space for him to reflect, but also for yourself. This is a crucial moment to reevaluate your own desires and needs. You may find that by prioritizing your emotional well-being, you can envision a clearer and healthier future, whether with him or without him. The process of distancing yourself is not linear and can bring up feelings of insecurity and doubt, but it is vital. Sometimes you may feel guilty for not doing more, but it's essential to recognize that you have already done your best. Guilt should not have a place in a healthy relationship. Responsibility for the relationship should be shared, and both parties must be willing to put in the effort. If he truly values what you have, distancing yourself can be the impetus he needs to reevaluate himself. The pain of loss can lead him to understand that the relationship needs to be actively worked on. However, if he does not respond to this change, it may be a clear sign that he is not ready or willing to invest in the relationship. You should be aware that your worth does not depend on his reaction. Regardless of what happens, you are worthy of love and respect. The most important thing is that you are respecting yourself by not sacrificing for someone who may not be making the same effort. This is a moment of empowerment for you, a reminder that your happiness should come first. Lack of effort in a relationship can be a reflection of deeper issues. Sometimes people are afraid to open up or be vulnerable. This vulnerability is necessary to strengthen the connection. If he feels threatened by this, he may need to work on his own emotional issues. If he starts to question your lack of effort, this could lead to an important conversation. An honest dialogue is essential for both of you to understand the dynamics of the relationship. He may need guidance to express his emotions and concerns. This exchange could be the key to a rebirth in the relationship. It's time for you to ask yourself, what do you truly desire? What do you want for your future? These questions might be difficult, but they are necessary. If he is not willing to make changes, it might be time to consider your options. You deserve a love that meets your expectations and does not require you to continually sacrifice. While you reflect on your needs, he might find himself at a crossroads. What will he do from now on? It is crucial that he takes the initiative to put in the effort for the relationship to thrive. If he does not, you must be prepared to move on. This process of self-assessment can be challenging, but it is a vital component of personal growth. By stopping your efforts, you're not only creating space for him to reflect, but also for you to reevaluate what really matters in your life. Love should be an exchange, and you should feel valued for who you are. Remember that you are not alone. Many people face similar moments in their relationships and have their own internal battles as well. The key is to have the courage to make decisions that promote your well-being, even if that means letting go of something that is not working. If you have made it this far, consider it a sign that it is time to act. This is your moment to put yourself first, to seek what you truly want, and to surround yourself with people who value and respect you. You deserve a relationship that brings peace, joy, and reciprocity. Prioritize yourself and trust in your worth. Distance in a relationship can be a turning point. When you decide not to put in the effort anymore, a new dynamic begins to take hold. This space you create is not just about physical distance, but emotional distance as well. It can, in fact, open his eyes to the reality of the situation. What was once a comfortable routine now transforms into a moment of reflection. As you pull away, he may realize that the relationship is not just about physical presence, but about emotional commitment. This absence can make him start to ponder what it truly means to be in a relationship. What does he want? What is essential for the relationship to work? These questions may start to emerge, and it is important that he faces them. When you stop giving your best, it can be a wake-up call for him. The lack of effort is not a form of punishment, but a way to show that the relationship needs attention. It is an implicit invitation for him to reassess his priorities. He needs to understand that love should not be one-sided. What you are doing is an act of self-defense, a recognition that you deserve to be treated with respect and dedication. This change in perspective can lead him to confront his own insecurities. He may realize that his actions, or lack thereof, have a real impact on the dynamic between you two. This self-analysis is crucial. He needs to understand that it is not just about you, but about what both of you are building together. The relationship should be a partnership, and the absence of effort from one side can create an imbalance that is unsustainable in the long run. If he is willing to look inward, this distance can be the catalyst he needed to become more aware of his actions. The pain of absence can be a strong motivator for him to seek change. He may start to wonder how he can do his part to make the relationship healthier and more balanced. This is an opportunity for him to become more present and active. Additionally, the lack of effort can expose behavioral patterns that need to be discussed. Often, people become complacent in relationships, believing that everything is fine when, in reality, communication is failing. The distancing can be the first step for him to realize that his emotional needs are not being met. This realization can generate an impulse for him to seek an open dialogue about what each person needs to feel secure and loved. It's vital for him to understand that the relationship should not be a constant source of stress. If he feels that he is losing something valuable, he may feel motivated to act. This is the moment when he can realize the importance of making an effort, not just to keep you by his side, but to build something more meaningful between you two. A healthy relationship requires mutual dedication and the recognition that both have the right to feel valued. By distancing yourself, you also gain the opportunity to reflect on what you need in your life. This is a moment to reconnect with yourself and rediscover who you are. You can start to understand what you truly value in a relationship and what you are not willing to accept. This clarity can be liberating, as it allows you to set your expectations more assertively. If he is not willing to change, you must be prepared to move on. Love should not be a constant struggle. When you prioritize your emotional well-being, it's easier to recognize when something isn't working. This recognition is a sign of growth. You should not feel guilty for seeking happiness. The responsibility for a relationship must be shared, and when one side is not willing to collaborate, it is a clear sign that changes are necessary. This process of distancing can be difficult, but it is an opportunity for personal growth for both parties. The pain of distancing can be a push for him to reevaluate his priorities, but it is also a crucial moment for you to reaffirm your own identity and worth. What do you want for the future? What are your expectations in a relationship? These questions are essential and should be answered honestly. Do not be afraid to set boundaries and put yourself first. You deserve a love that does not require you to constantly sacrifice. It is normal to feel insecure during this process, but remember that you are not alone. Many people are facing similar challenges, and it is important to seek support from friends or groups that can offer an external perspective. Sometimes, the simple act of distancing can generate the change you hoped for. This decision is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. You are committing to take care of yourself and to seek what you really want and need in a relationship. This is a journey that may be lonely, but it is also an opportunity for growth. If, at the end of this process, he is not willing to make an effort or work on the relationship, you should be prepared to move on. Love should bring happiness and not constant pain. If he is not willing to invest, it may be time to consider new possibilities. The world is full of opportunities and people who can value you in the way you deserve. Remember that your worth is not tied to the effort you put into a relationship. You are deserving of love and respect, and you should surround yourself with people who recognize that. By prioritizing your well-being, you open yourself up to new experiences and healthier connections. This is your moment to put yourself first and pursue the life you truly desire. When you begin to prioritize yourself, an internal transformation occurs. This shift in focus is not just about the relationship, but also about how you see yourself and what you deserve. You begin to understand that your happiness should not be tied to the presence or absence of another person. This clarity is essential for your emotional health. As you distance yourself, you may find that a sense of relief also surfaces. This means you are releasing a burden you should not have to carry. The stress and anxiety that used to be part of your daily life begin to diminish, and this is a sign that you are reconnecting with yourself. He, in turn, may start to feel this change in energy. The void you created is an opportunity for him to reflect on his own needs and desires. This introspection can be uncomfortable, but it is a necessary step for his growth. It's important that he understands that love should not be a burden, and that both of you deserve a space of respect and collaboration. If he truly cares, this period of distance might be the wake-up call he needed. What he does with this opportunity is crucial. If he makes an effort to understand what happened and looks for ways to improve the relationship, that could be a good sign. However, if his response is one of indifference or rejection, it may indicate that he is not ready for the commitment you deserve. At that moment, it is vital that you maintain your position. You should not feel guilty for seeking a healthy relationship. Each person must understand their roles and responsibilities, and if they are not willing to take on theirs, it's a strong indication that something needs to change. This clarity will allow you to set your boundaries and expectations more assertively. Additionally, it is essential that you seek support. Talking with friends or family about your experiences can offer new perspectives and help relieve emotional burdens. Do not hesitate to share your insecurities and feelings. Sometimes, an outside perspective can bring up insights you hadn't considered. Meanwhile, continue focusing on your self-care. Dedicate time to activities that bring you joy and strengthen your self-esteem. This is a phase of self-discovery, and every step you take towards your well-being is a victory. As you become stronger, it becomes clearer what you really want and need in a relationship. If, at the end of this process, he does not show a willingness to make an effort, you must be prepared to move on. Love should be a healthy exchange, and you deserve someone who values and respects your needs. You are not alone on this journey. Many people face similar challenges, and by prioritizing your well-being, you open the door to new opportunities and healthier connections. This is your moment to shine. Before you leave, do two things now. Take a deep breath and hold on to what touched your heart today. And if it makes sense, share this story with someone who also needs to hear this.